Digital is an add-on module for HScope, as shown here on my license page. The purpose of this tutorial is to describe it, to help you decide if you want it and how to best use it. There are two aspects to the digital module, like two capabilities that might appeal to two different groups of users. So first, let's call up the digital module. It can be found by going to that small cube here. And we're going to select it. Notice that it appeared over here, right? And notice that it gives us two digital channels. So these two digital channels are in addition to the regular analog channels. So there might be a need to curb our enthusiasm here just a little bit on that, because these two digital channels have to be specifically implemented. And they haven't been implemented in any oscilloscope as such as of yet. All right. So where they have been implemented is in the oscilloscope-based dynamic balancing projects like the HS-ACC, okay? And the Gadgets playlist have shown many examples where it's used, and those digital channels are indispensable. So it kind of caters to that group of users, as shown here, where the infrared sensors and or the laser sensors make use of the digital channels. So many of you are not part of that user group and are here for the second aspect, the second capability of the digital module, which is to decode various network protocols. Now, I covered this a couple years back in the Gadgets playlist in this video. Not only do I want to bring it into the fold of the HScope tutorials, but there have been some significant changes in how this is implemented since the making of that video. So this will supersede all the other methods that have been described to date. So I have here a CAN bus waveform, okay, a healthy one, taken from my 2024 RAV4. Okay. Off camera, it's really cold in the garage, and I'm not going to be dragging a camera in there, not even in the name of science. Okay. Besides, this is a fairly technical topic here that's discussed in this tutorial, and it assumes that you're able to capture a CAN waveform. You're able to capture a LIN waveform. Okay. We're quite familiar with what a healthy CAN waveform should look like, right? 2.5 volts right here. 3.5 here, 1.5 here. From here to there are dominant bits, and those are zeros. And in here are recessive bits. They are ones. There's a message in here, in a frame, okay, as all of these modules are talking to each other on the network. The digital module allows us to interpret these messages. To achieve it, there's two main things you got to do. Okay, so first we're going to call up the digital module. Right here. The next step is to be able to change the name of one of these two channels. Okay, I prefer it to be channel 2. And as this tutorial progresses, you'll best understand why. To do that, we just tap channel 2. All of these in black are just like name changes. They have no other effect, okay? Except the blue ones. They do have special purpose, okay? And for us to be able to decode the CAN, we're going to use CAN-L. Notice that now channel 2 is now called CAN-L. Right here. Also notice that the decoding has now taken place. If we scroll around, we'll see that these frames have all been decoded. If we tap on the frame, we get further details, including if there had been an error in the frame, it would show up here. Another thing that I want to point out, you see how this is all done like in automotive pages? Okay. And that the pages are only like so wide. Okay. I want to show you a little trick. So HScope does not use the full voltage range of CAN low and CAN high in decoding. It does not use this entire range here to find the dominant bit. Instead, it works in here on CAN low only to find the dominant bit. So in Automotive Pages tutorial, I stressed the importance of trying to stretch the limited number of sample points that we have in a buffer to try and maximize the size of our pages. Since HScope is just using CAN low to decode, why not just use one channel to use the channel 2 that does the CAN low? And instead of sharing, say in the case of the HS512 Max, 32,000 points into 2 channels, we can keep all 32,000 points on channel 2 and have a much wider page. So I have here on that same RAV4 a CAN capture where I just focus on taking the CAN low. Okay, so between 2.5 volts and 1.5 volt. Okay. This is where HScope works at to find the dominant and recessive bits to decode. And in the previous example on the full CAN high, CAN low, I had used a 5 megasample per second. Here, I've used 2 megasample per second, which is adequate for being able to decode. Okay, it's enough resolution. And it allows us the widest possible page. So I'll change the name of the channel to CAN-L. And as you can see, we are being able to get full decode on much wider pages before we hit these gaps. Okay? Little trick. So if it's a novelty, it's a cute and colorful one. But there is a use for this. It's kind of leading edge stuff, so without getting myself into too much trouble here, I'll try to give you a taste for it, okay? Typically, when we're looking at the CAN bus waveform, all right, we're looking for its health. We're looking for it to look like this, right? If we don't see this, if it's messed up, then we start looking for wiring, connectors, modules, whatever it is that might be causing that network to be taken down, okay? Not to be clean like this, okay? That's the typical traditional approach. But there are times when the CAN waveform looks healthy like this, and yet there are communication errors. And that's when having this stuff allows us to get more information to try and find out if a module, repeats, it's trying to communicate. You try to identify which module, and if you unplug one where some of these messages, where some of these frames are taken out, and you can kind of isolate the culprit, okay? So like I say, it's tricky stuff. There are people doing this now, all right? But it's at the leading edge. So I've got a waveform here, courtesy of Phil out of New Zealand, a member of our Telegram group, taken on a 2012 Accent, okay? And it was taken at 600 kilosample per second, which means that with the HS512 Max, you're still in HScope stream. So now we have no more automated pages, no more gaps, right? It's a steady full-time stream. Typical of a LIN waveform is that it's at 12 volt and it's taken down to 1 volt. That's the range. We'll bring up the digital module, and we're going to rename the channel, this time to LIN. And there you are. The LIN bus is decoded. And in the same way as the CAN waveforms are being used as an additional tool when the waveform seems healthy, but there are still issues, it's an additional tool to try to get to the bottom of it by looking at these and trying to figure out which module is causing the issue. It's an extra tool. There are additional network protocols which HScope is capable of decoding. Such as UART, which is the serial protocol, Morse code, Modbus, which is how computer peripherals talk to each other. So there are always possibilities of perhaps adding more protocols to this list. And one that comes to mind is the NEMA protocols, like for marine networks, right? That link the radar, sonar, GPS, possible engine controls. So if you're in the marine type of work and you think that you could make use of having decoding on NEMA available, contact our HScope group on Telegram, and Martin's always present, and make the request. And that's how a lot of HScope development has taken place, by having us people making requests and Martin taking them seriously and then implements them. And I've seen requests made, and within a day or two or whatever, like the implementation is there. And like, we're not people that can code, you know, we get a little sense of what kind of goes behind that, and that there's only one man that's doing it. And it's in those instances that you know that you are in the presence of something quite special. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next installment.